On popular demand, I have been asked by multiple of my friends and clients to make some relationship and dating advice for content for women. I've been making it for men, and it was pretty much easier for me. But since I've been asked, and I do feel qualified to present this content. And before I begin, I want to make it clear that this is not a judgment or a criticism. So don't need to get all gaslighty on me. And let's begin because we need to add value. And one of the most important or a beginning a precursor to adding value is eliminate the content which is removing value from your life. Now, this is applicable for both men and women. Usually, what happens is that this solidarity or the internal essence or that ego that I am connected to certain, so that subconsciously is more propagated amongst women. The content, that idea, which or the more important, scratch that crucial advice which I want to give is that stop following aggressive feminist influencers. Very important. Now, people at this point would like to feel that this is coming from a male chauvinist or that point of view. No, I am a higher order strategist and thinker, and I have seen much more content and much more pain from influence, like from my clients, both married and unmarried, and women, and across sexualities, across genders, across orientations. I do have some quality content to contribute. What happens is we think that our opinions are shaped from our own thoughts. However, it's more and more increasingly injected or incepted through complex chains of algorithms. Usually, these strategies are defined and they are definable. Social media AI is not a new concept. Mark Zuckerberg has made his own wealth. But what happens is to inject that initial beliefs, you need creators. Often, what happens is either some creators coming from their own point of experiences, or they are paid or manipulated, or they have an agenda to publish content which is going to solidarize you towards, or let's say unify you towards a belief system which is that men are bad, relationships are bad, marriage is bad, children are bad, and everything. But that's not actually. See, 80 to 85% women in my survey, when I say women, I mean girls to women, everybody in the age bracket of 18 to 45. Menopausal women and all those things will come up later. But anybody in this bracket, 80 to 85% sooner or later understand that the content being spoken is highest quality of deception, and they might need to be away from this. Now, subtle social intelligence between men and women, if you try to measure or compare, women would always have it higher. That is why women will always solidarize. From a client of mine who has permitted only to share this, I would say that this person did so much to prove his innocence, but his current girlfriend believed the words of a former girlfriend over him because there was some. Now that's a different story. There was different agenda. So the situation, and let me give you one more common situation which I've seen 3 to 5 to 10 times. Mr. Rohit Prakash, hypothetical name, not linking to anybody. Mr. Rohit Prakash goes to this office, and he is actually seen talking to one of his colleagues, Damini. Now, somewhere or the other, this scene is captured in photos or whatever, and then this is publicized. The insecure, and it so happens this Mr. Rohit Prakash's wife sees that. The idea, what happens, what ends up happening is, even if there is no suspicion, even if there is part knowledge, there would be a struggle, there would be at least a question. And it so happens many times women are insecure. Now there is also a vibe meter. If your partner is actually cheating, you would probably know, both men and women. But what happens is that even if there's no cheating, somewhere or the other, maybe depending on the menstrual phase you are in, there is an impulse to actually attack this person and try to say get a social leverage over him. I would come out in 2026 of August, in August of 2026, and say that woman, please stop doing that. You are creating an unsafe environment for me. So again, not everybody would be doing that. I get it. The most internal thought would be, "Fine, everybody doesn't do that." No, I'm not talking about everybody, but I'm talking about a majority. Majority women in India are fundamentally insecure because of lack of strong, safe masculine figures. But that's not a problem because your husband cannot be a therapist. He cannot always be like that. See, solidarity amongst this and woman is a natural phenomena, but what ends up happening is you are misdirected multiple times over. Not now again, the past are there, but who is spreading the hatred? That gets amplified for women more and more, much more. For example, there was this influencer called, let's not name people, but there was a moment, hashtag proud R. There was a moment like hashtag proud R. And then that had a backlog, and then there were FIRs. Till that lady comes out and gaslights people like anything. Her, well, the agenda is men are to be treated as dogs for some reason. Not understanding, see, people innocently will follow, not understanding that might be just a paid action from a syndicate. And yes, YouTube and Instagram are heavily monopolized. Heavily monopolized. My point is evaluate the decisions, because the decisions which you are making at the age of 22 will come to bite back you in the age of 33. And even also saying my mood changed and all that, it will not work out. Some sort of system will actually play out. And then because I have seen same lady at 24 condemning, complaining, and being in her own ego. Now, they call it men ego. What is the different? What is an equivalent of men ego in women, and which has it more? The attachment to the identity, and then resolving it, then taking action on it, then doing all kinds of gaslighting and all the kinds of games against the other people. If your nuisance is called out, that is much more common with, it's somewhat a second nature, and it's high time as a society will start calling it out. Most recently we have started seeing these things in so many cases, like this Ketan Agarwal and all, so many cases came in, but that's an extreme, but it is increasing in its frequency. No doubt the cases and the harassment against women is much more till today, and most women are not like that, but it still tarnishes. Just like all those attacks which men, 10, 20, 30% of men did, attacks are tarnishing men forever till date. That is what is happening. The mistakes done at 22, same lady, same Miss N, is now suffering at the age of 33. I'm not getting, because what happened is that in that ego, you rejected somebody good, and now you are finding somebody way below better and way worse than what you imagined, because somebody misguided you. In that case, a friend. Sometimes it can be mother also. It definitely aunts, friends, and all that. They are there to misguide. Even if their marriage is going good, they might misguide you. Influencer is always there, but most proximal things are there. You just read how many times on Quora people have said that I was misled into filing a fake 498A case against my husband and now I'm repenting. So, my advice is do not take advice from a lady regarding your relationships. If you want, you need to advise, go to a qualified consultant, much like me, or more comfortable would be a woman. But a qualified paid consultant, don't ask free advice from friends anymore. That is true for men. For men, you can always approach people like me. And obviously, somebody who understands the life much better. Do not necessarily take free advice and do not actually be swayed about with the proper identity. Like, anything that is attached to the female identity, you should evaluate with 100 pinches of salt. Because whenever people attach things to identity, usually it is not for good purpose. And it happens to nationalism too. And not just India, everywhere. It happens to any kind of college also. Go Bears, go Wolves, all that nuisance. Try to see what is coming up. Don't be just carried away and do things because words and those things have impact. Don't like I imagine how many people, how many girls just use this proud R and R underscore N underscore DI thing word. I'm not using it, but they use that. Just imagine what kind of energies are you propagating through your own mouth. So be mindful, be try to seek peace and solace, which is very hard. I know that. This video, if you find anything insightful in the comment box, even if you want to condemn me or something, like do and use any kind of words, use that comment box down there. Do like the video. There's a subscribe button somewhere here, and do share this across men. Please share this. Fathers or mothers of women, do share this. Even if you don't like, share it to your enemy. Not an issue. Stay happy, stay safe.